Well, yes, we are live. Hello,
We
everyone.
are
How
live.
are you doing? We are live. I know this is the action adventure of our man's life. We jump from one crazy one and I bring you sensible ones. So right now, breathe in deeply because this is a serious video. We are here with Vagabond Mama.
The vagabond.
We are here with the original Vagabond Mama. I will let Vagabond Mama introduce herself first, and then I'll tell you what it is that we've got in store for you today. So let's go and visit Nancy. I want her to introduce herself. And then after you've got to know who she is, I will come back in and we will chat about the topic. So, Nancy, you are welcome, my sister.
Thank you, my sister.
Right. But introduce yourself to the crowd so they know who you
Okay,
are.
so for those who don't know me, my name is Nancy. I'm a Ghanaian living in Germany. I am a lecturer, I'm a teacher. Currently, I'm also working in Scrum. I'm trying to divert from education into the tech field. So I'm in doing Scrum now. And I have a Facebook page called Justasknanci, where I give advice and mentor people who want to travel abroad. I guide them, give them information, give them right information, direction, useful things that can make this decision to move abroad easy. Because sometimes when you're looking for information, even though it's easy to find information on the web, so many people find the information and they don't know what to do with the information. So I make the steps easier for people to understand. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I
Can
mainly
we
do.
clarify a couple of things too? Because I think the information you give, as much as it will be useful for some people, will not be useful for other people because it's
Yes.
also quite niche information. So let's clarify. Who is actually your niche in terms of the information you put out for Jakpa?
The information I put out with Jakpa is mainly for people, skilled workers who want to move abroad, mainly for skilled workers. Of course, I sometimes also put out information about tourist visas and things like that. But it's mainly for people who have certain qualifications and they want to use it to move abroad. So because I am not a fan of using the visit visa route to migrate.
Please
Even
explain.
though I am not against it, I am not a fan of it because once you do that, you suffer a lot.
Exactly.
To go from using a non-migrant visa to travel, you suffer a lot. I mean, it's something that I myself experienced, So hence the name Vagabond Mama, because I had to live in different places and do a whole lot of wandering to get to where I am. And I understand the struggles that comes with that. That is why I prefer to give information that leads to a very simple, smooth pathway to go from maybe student visa or skilled worker to permanent residency to neutralization.
Okay. So it's from experience. I know sometimes people bash and people make a lot of noise about that one. And you people are always talking about education. And I was explaining to somebody a few days ago, knowing what it takes to do the other route and knowing the casualties we take on the road, it's not something I recommend. It's not something I recommend. It's a whole lot easier if you go down the straight and narrow. It's a whole lot quicker if you use the routes. And so I thought it was important that we clarify. Yes, you will find other things, of course. There will be unskilled routes that come up every now and again. But the unskilled route is full of uncertainties. And it's the reason why most of the guys that I favor don't tend to recommend it. So let's go down and explain, because you've thrown a few things. Skilled. What does that even mean? Let's break it down, because I know we will get these questions. What's skilled and what's unskilled?
Well, when I talk about skilled worker, I know some people will be like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have a university degree. That's not what we are talking about here, because living in Germany is a country that favors vocational and technical education a lot. Their whole educational system is built on technical education. That is what Germans are known for engineering, whether it's electrical, mechanical engineering, or chemical engineering like BASF and so on. So it's for people who've had vocational and technical education, as well as tertiary education. I mean, academic wise, going to uni, master's degree, PhD level. So it's for everybody. I know that often at times, I mean, going to school abroad was mainly to do my master's. That was what we used to hear often. I'm going abroad to do my master's. I'm going abroad to do my. But now, in several countries, they need skilled craftsmen to migrate into their economies to help them with everyday stuff. So as long as you have any kind of technical vocational education, and you have a proof, whether it's an NVTI or City and Guilds, or you have a proof that you have this set of hard skills, you do have a chance to migrate to places like Australia, to places like Canada, to Germany, to Austria, Ireland, and so on. It depends on if you can prove that you have these sets of skills.
So we've come back to the same thing. I mean, Germany, for example, I have uncles who came to Germany in the 50s and they came to do TVET type things. It was, that's what became the HNDs and the rest of the things. There was the the polytechnics, which are tertiary institutions in Germany. They've always had that kind of ranking. So you can still go on the TVET route and still get level 3 qualifications, even though it's not the classic academic route. You are learning.
Exactly.
Kelly, good. I want you guys to listen. I want you to pay close attention, because I think a lot of us mix a lot of myths with the truth and we create a lot of confusion. True. You don't have to be a master's degree holder, but darling, you cannot also come with your 10 fingers.
No.
You cannot come and stand with your secondary school certificate alone. Certainly not your basic certificate alone. And I get that a lot. Because people said that it's technical education, people jump straight on, oh, that's not education. No, it's education. And it's proven in very similar ways. So there are qualifications in the TVET route. And if you want to go down the TVET route, you've got to invest a bit of time to find out what the qualifications are, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I remember when Julia's video went wild. I was on a group and it was hilarious. Somebody was busy. She had, these Ghanaians, these Africans, they come out and see another illiterate. And the person, somebody just came and said, do you know her?
Yeah, sometimes people, content creation is not easy. I opened this page a while back and I tried a little bit and I stopped.
Yeah.
And then I stopped because I was like, you have to grow a very
tough skin
to be able to do content creation. But that was something that I was not prepared for, and actually I was not prepared to make. It was a random video. I mean, it was not my usual. That is not my usual content that I create. I just saw her through the window coming, and I was thinking, oh my God, what is she up to today? And then when it went out, the insults, for me, it was funny. But the insults that people said, I hate myself. That is why I'm married to a white person, because I hate myself. Yep. Me referring to the black bird means that I am racist of some sort. As if in our Ghanaian culture, anything colored black doesn't have a meaning, like a bad omen, and honestly, I kind of fell into a small depression afterwards,
No, you did not.
Yes, I did, because the volume of insults were like a bit much, and I was like, should I keep doing this or shouldn't I, And then I was like, yeah, I mean, it was painful. But then I realized that, you know what, you have to keep going. You just keep doing your thing. Those who support you will support you. Those who know you will know. Because the thing that encouraged me was when I read the comment section, people who knew me, who haven't spoken to me like years, I will find them in the comment section fighting with other people.
That was the amazing thing, because I saw people in there explaining, and there was this particular person who was on about 3 or 4 platforms that people tagged me into to come have a look. And she was explaining to these guys, but do you know her? Do you know who she is? She lectures at a university. What university lecturer? How can a black person teach in the university? Then I just start laughing. And I'm like, which is one of the important things. I mean, it's something that struck me today. I came for a team leaders meeting today. Obviously, the people who are in this thing are all highly ranked. I forgot that I
Mm-hmm.
was black until this morning. You know, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
remember I was black. This feeling of being black, of being the only black person in a place, of every eye riveting on you, watching every move you make because they haven't seen you in gatherings like this, and they're like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people
and
find it strange. People find it even here in Germany, it's very rare to see black people in in education. There are a few that I follow on TikTok and stuff like that who are either teaching at the elementary level or at the secondary school level, but it's not common. It's not something that most Ghanaians get into here.
yeah,
And every time somebody
why
hears
is
that, I
that?
have to explain myself. How did you do this? How
Yeah,
did you get into this field? And how can you help me to do it? And when I explain to them the steps that they need to take, they listen and they're like, okay. And then that's it. I
okay.
never hear from them again
But
because the steps
that's why there isn't
seems a
many of
bit
us,
too
is there?
cumbersome
Yeah,
for them.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go there because again, I want you guys to hear Nancy because I think there is a huge inspiration in the story. One, Nancy was not born in Germany. That's the
No.
thing most of you will assume. Nancy has not had an easy ride to where she is in Germany. Mm-mm. Nancy has made it where she is because she's had to learn and she's had to regrow. She's had to mature and to develop a thick skin. So let's go there briefly so that those of you who aspire can understand. Nancy, let's start from where you were not born German.
I
So
was
how
not
the hell
born
are you
German.
teaching?
I did.
Why are you? How are
I
you
didn't
here?
go to school here in Germany. My first 12 years of education was not in Germany, and my bachelor's degree was not in Germany. I came here 2014, so I've only been
Okay,
living in Germany like for
coming
eight
up to a decade.
years. Yes. Okay. So yeah, I wasn't born here, none of that. I came here to school. The thing that helped me the most, like on my journey here, is I have lived in, I would say my experience is not like the same like somebody who just came from Ghana to Germany. I do understand that because when you just come from Ghana to Germany, you still have a bit of transition to do with the culture and everything else. So I left Ghana when I was 16. When I was 16, I was made to go live with relatives and people, sometimes church people. I've lived with so many people that I was sent to go live in. I've lived in America with my cousin. That cousin couldn't live with me in New York. I had to move from New York to another place. I've been all over the place. So coming to Germany, I had good people skills. I have already learned how to network because I have had to be on my own a lot. So whilst I was in uni, that is something that I tell all the people that I mentor, that whilst you're in uni, that is the best time for you to build relationship with your lecturers. With if there's a job fair, you need to go to the job fair. If there's any internship opportunity, you go to that internship. Whilst you're doing the internship, you continue to network a lot. You see, I had to break this mindset of people thinking, oh yeah, Moshe, like in Ghana, that's what we say, like,
Self put.
self put, but you have to understand that there's an English word for that. It's called networking. As long as you're not somebody who is looking to suck other people dry and you're ready to bring value to whichever relationship you find yourself in, doors will open for you. So when I was at uni, I had very good relationship with my professors, which was like rare. I mean, I had some professors that I hated, but those that were warm towards me, I was also like warm towards them. And the thing is, I like to talk. So I am somebody who likes to approach people, have conversations with them, and so on and so forth. So once I was done with my master's degree, I had the opportunity. I was like between, okay, I want to either do my PhD and so on and so forth. And when I spoke to one of my professors, he told me, okay, we have this lecturing role that you only need a master's degree to do, and you would lecture business communication to hospitality, tourism students, and wine management students. They needed somebody in the business faculty if it's something that I would like to do. And this was in the south of Germany. And for those who know that the south is not as integrated with foreigners as the North is, So it was weird when I first entered my lecture hall and I was standing there. All the students had no idea. They thought I was just another student. So they didn't know who I was or what I was doing there.
Yeah.
And then when the time started, I started writing on the board, put my projector on and everything else. And I think for the first 20 minutes,
nobody
were
will
still
speak.
Wondering, what the hell is she doing? Where is the real lecture? So talking about that, so when I started lecturing, I had to be very, very, very extra strict to command respect in the room.
It is challenging.
Yeah, I had to do that.
It is very challenging.
I had to do that for my student to know, that, okay, she's in charge. Because the thing that I found out, if you don't take command of the room, the minute they walk in and let them know, this is my kingdom, I'm the boss here. These are the set of rules that we are going to be working with. If you lose that in the first minute, it's really hard for you to recreate that moment, because for me, you have to bring them all the way down to a size that you can bite. And then as the semester proceeds, you can become a bit more flexible with them. Then, and as you know, when you lecture here in Germany, at the end of every semester, you get evaluation. So the students have to evaluate you, and it's like a poll, it's an electronic evaluation. It's anonymous, and the students will tell how much they enjoy your sessions and anything that you need to improve and things like that. So I did my first semester, and afterwards I got very good evaluations. I mean, compared to other people in our faculty, it was quite good for a first time lecture. So of course, then from there, if you're not good, once the students evaluate you, this is not like Ghana where once you're lecturing, you can do whatever and people will just keep you there. Once the students evaluate you and you're not good,
hold on 1 second. You've gone there and you've gone there. This does not just apply to lectureship, by the way. All right. This is one of the places where most of us fall. And when we fall, we don't actually realize it's because of our mistake. We will start linking it with racism. We will start calling other things. I'm not saying they don't exist, but they often have nothing to do with the things that we tie them to. For example, you walk to a room, people don't know you, so they look at you suspiciously. Is that not what any kind of person does, regardless of color? If you don't know somebody, you look at them suspiciously because you are curious, you are interested, you want to know. It is up to that person to actually then establish themselves, command your respect, and move forward. It is something I have realized many of our people don't know and don't know how to do. So we will walk in, we will begin to be the doormat. We will wait for the children to wipe their feet with you. And when they have already done that and you have lost your chances, when most of us will become aware of the need to fight, but by that time, the game is over.
That's true. And the other thing is, when they talk about growing a tough skin, especially living in south of Germany, the thing is you have to be able to differentiate between stupid people and racist encounters. In every society, there are stupid people. And sometimes when somebody says something or does something, the person is just silly. So you just have to just put them back in their place. And you don't necessarily need to let that ruin your whole day. And if you continue to let it get under your skin, you will miss so many opportunities because you will count yourself out even before the show begins. You understand? Because then you're like, oh my God, going there. You already imagine and fantasize the worst case scenario before even entering the room, because I've gotten that a lot. People are, how are you able to do it? How does it feel like? And I'm like, I had to, because when I was doing my master's, I was the only Black girl in my master's group. So I had to get used to being the only Black person in the room and still finding a way to get my voice heard all the time.
That's the thing, isn't it?
And in Ghanaian settings, even here in Germany, in certain African groups, they would say I am too much, because I am not this quiet, shy type,
When has that helped us? The quiet and shy, apart from getting you to be the doormat, when has it helped?
Exactly.
So, funny story today. I walked in as I said, I've moved from a different team into this one. So people in this team don't know. And I'm sat there at first playing my usual game, watching people. Then I found we were standardizing. So the questions will come, you will write your things. And there's a girl who's actually asked me to come and eat dinner today. Why do you think she's asked to eat dinner? She was sat right beside me. And as she sat beside me and she was looking at the compliance, after the first maybe 2-3 questions, she looked online and she was seeing the compliance. And then after a while, she would ask you, what was that one? You have to. It's a necessity with people. And yes, I intentionally made sure that my compliance was right up there. I didn't say anything to her. I didn't speak to her, but I knew she would look. I knew she would look. I knew they would look. And I knew when people got up, people would be curious. So yeah, it was up to me to sit there quietly and make sure it was rock solid. And when she started speaking to me, I smiled because I knew I had won one.
Of course.
I had won one. And it's one of the things I think people need to start talking about so more people become aware of. So more people are a little bit more intentional with what you do. So for those of you who wanted to know, Vagabond Mama says that becoming a lecturer in Germany is not a walk in the park. It's not a walk in the park anywhere, but it's done by human beings.
It is. It's doable. Anybody can do it. I mean, as long as you know how to, as long as you know how to work with people. So, of course, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of how some faculty members can be or all of that. All of that exists. And all of that can also exist if you're lecturing at Legon. I mean, you have to understand that everybody is not supposed to like you. That is not, you are supposed to like yourself. And as long as you like yourself, you don't care what other people, you understand?
No, ma'am.
Because I remember once one of my kids had an issue with a teacher, and then we're discussing it and everything else. And, and then the teacher turned to my daughter and was like, do you think I don't like you? And I was like, Madam, stop. It's not your job to like my daughter or love her. That's my job. Your job is just to make sure that you're teaching her, that she feels safe in the classroom, that she can approach you. That is it. It's not about like or dislike, because I'm not trying to create a human being who has such a low self-esteem that she needs validation from you to, and once again, in this meeting, I mean, my husband, he hates it when I go like that, but I'm just going to put it there at the table so that we all understand where we are working from. Because if not, then it's like this person's approval is going to be holding her hostage. You understand? She's not in the school to be liked or disliked by the teacher. She's here to be taught. And, and you have to create a safe space in the classroom environment for everybody to feel safe. That's it,
You've gone again to a very important place.
Yeah, growing up in Ghana, being liked and approved by other people was very, very important for me, because that is the setting in which I grew up. You have to conform, you have to be, you have to, mold yourself to fit people's taste and so on. So when I started traveling, it was very hard for me, and the people pleasing was to the max. It took a lot of, working through a lot of disappointment, rejection from people, and so on, for me to come to a point to know that the only thing I need to do is to accept myself and to love myself. And what the other person does is their own business. So for me, for students who want to Japan, I don't know whether you are already here. I get lots of questions for students here living in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Austria, and so on. And they struggle with finding a social life here. They struggle with finding internships. They struggle with so many things. Or even when they find an internship, they struggle with getting along with people. And I keep telling them, you need to learn more about networking. You need to know how to network with people. I recommend so many books, for them that helps you to understand human behavior and how to always make sure that you bring the best into every relationship, because we are of the opinion, especially when you grow up in Ghana, we are used to, if I find a white person, they're supposed to give me something. You understand?
Why should they? Why?
I'm supposed to get something from this white person. So I'm like, if you go into a relationship and you're not adding any form of value, why should the person even, you understand?
Yeah, you're a parasite.
you're not going there to be adopted by the person, to be taken care of by the person.
You are
when you
a
show
pest.
the person the value you bring,
Yes.
everybody will let you into their circles when they know that you bring this kind of value.
You know, you are throwing so many, and I'm trying to latch to different places. So I saw you recommended one of my favorite books of all time to recommend for Africans, and I have recommended both books for so long. Mark Manson's book, no, he's not my brother. No, I don't benefit anything from his books. But that subtle art of not giving a fuck is a book every single one of us, especially the Africans, must read.
Especially that,
because
we care too much.
Oh, we care too much, and we give fucks to things that don't deserve your fucks. And then by the time you really should give a fuck, you've run out of fucks.
Exactly. And it's mentally draining when you care too much, It's mentally draining. You cannot please any and everybody. And you spend too much time trying to, then it's like almost you have bipolar or multiple personality syndrome, because you have to be a different person to that person. You have to always change your personality to fit different. Of course, we do mold our personality sometimes in different,
but not that drastically.
But not that drastically.
Okay. No.
Of course, because my kids tell me I'm nicer to their friends than I am to them. I'm like, well, they are not my child, So
yeah, I'm not bothered what happens to them in the end.
Keep asking them, because she's a guest here, so I'm trying to make sure the guest is comfortable. But of course, we do mold our personality sometimes, but you cannot please any and everybody. And when you try that, you're going to end up going crazy, So it's not just that book. I mean, there are so many other books that I have read that really helped me. One of the controversial ones is Jordan Peterson. I know some people like him, some people hate him. He is of a particular taste,
He's Marmite, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Peterson, he's of a particular. I mean, if you asked me 5 years ago, I hated him. Then all of a sudden, I read his book, I hated him.
Oh.
I was like, who is this? Because, he kept giving punches. Like, I kept seeing clips from YouTube that were not giving me the full context of what he's trying. And I was like, who is this man who is always, like, bashing women? And, But in hindsight, most of the things that he was saying are true, So, The 12 Rules of Life by Jordan Peterson, it's a good book. Another book that's really helped me that I'm trying to find right now is
there was one
The
about
Law of
something
Human
of
Nature.
Changing your mind.
Exactly.
I can't remember the title, but it was something about changing your mind. That was another big, powerful one. It was.
It is. And I have several. I will put it in the comments when I open my Audible, because sometimes I don't have time to read, so I use Audible to listen to most books on my drive to school.
Okay, so listen, those of you who are actually listening to the conversation, one, I wanted you to meet Nancy. I wanted you to get to know Nancy's background, but I also want you to understand what it takes for those who make it through, because there's actually a distinction. Somebody went to see your page and the person says, Amma, Nancy is very similar to you. And I'm like, it's funny. But those who actually intend to make it in the West, you have to adopt a certain persona.
Exactly.
You have to not give a fuck.
Exactly.
You cannot have too much fucks to give. So she was telling me, this person, when I see Nancy speak and I see Nancy exert, she reminds me of you. And I'm like, well, to be honest, it is the persona you will have to learn to adopt if you really want to make progress in this space. It is the persona you want to adopt if you don't want to be a doormat.
Right.
Most people who don't learn this will spend their entire lives as doormats. They will be waiting for people to give them permission to grow. They are waiting for people to help them. I was on somebody's comments. I was in the comments in your post this morning, and people were like, we will be waiting for you to give me information. If you continue to wait for information, you will get nowhere in this life, because nobody has time. No. And it's one of the things that most people misunderstand. So let's come there. You deal with the Jakpa people more than I do. You can tell us some of the problems and the reasons why most of our people are not making progress. Let's start from there. Why are people not making it? What are the attitudes that challenge progress, and what are the things you've got to move away from if you want to make that progress?
For me, I would say one of the challenging thing or sad thing I find amongst our people is the fact that we are not we are not trained to know how to achieve long-term goals. Because if you want to Japa as a student, for example, if you want to use the student route, it is a long-term thing, and as you might know, I do mentor people like every year. I try to mentor as much as people, but this year I reduced it to just 6 people, because in previous years, what I found out is I will have a large group of people in WhatsApp chat. I will do a lot of editing of, personal statements. I will do a lot of editing of CVs, help people, and then they don't end up using it for anything. There was a lot of time wasting. So I said, okay, this year I'm just going to reduce it to just 6 people, even though now I have done it for 20 people, more than 6, because there are some people who came later, and when they explained themselves, and I saw the dedication in them, so I decided to help them. I've helped the teachers, PhD students, several master students, done a lot of that for them. The thing that, and I also kick some people out of my mentorship group. The thing that I noticed, most of us don't understand that trying to do this Jakpa either through the skilled worker route or through the student route, it's a long-term goal. So you need to organize yourself. You see, we are missing that. Nobody ever taught us how to do that, how to sit down and plan something out. For me, I tell people it takes between 1 year and 18 months to successfully do that. And for those who follow my steps and they understand that it takes 1 year to 18 months to do that, they achieve what they want to. But most people who come to me, they're thinking, oh, I have some really short route to give them that can make them appear abroad in 3 weeks,
Laughter just killed me.
No, that is what most people think, and sometimes I find that very, very frustrating. So you have somebody who will come to you and he's like, can you help me find a school? I don't want to write the IELTS. I don't want to write GMAT. I don't want to write GRE. I just want a school that is like, they practically want a school where they probably don't even have to put in an application.
But they are looking for the school of witchcraft.
That is it. They don't want
it's only the school of witchcraft that will take you on those conditions, right? So give them the address, www.theschoolofwitchcraft.com. They can go there and apply.
And sometimes I tell people, I wrote TOEFL myself, they're like, yeah, but can't you find me a school where I don't have to write that? And I'm like, listen, in the end, it goes to help you yourself, doing this preparation helps you yourself, because once you come here and you're a master's student, you have to, when they are lecturing, they are expecting, they're not doing that to like if you write GMAT or GRE, they're not doing it to try to penalize you in any way. They're trying to make sure that we are all of a certain standard so that we can build from there. You understand? And writing it and passing it shows that, okay, you belong in this, group, so that we can take it from there. Most people don't want to do this. When I tell them, okay, this is what is going to take. For example, if you want to come here as a migrant worker, this is what you have to do. You have to find all your documentation together. You have to make sure that you get them accredited into the German system, because when you come here and you say you went to, let's say, Ukwapeman Second, no German knows what that is. They don't even understand what that is. So it needs to be accredited, approved by an institution that knows everything about education around the world. And this step is similar to the same thing if you want to migrate to Canada as a skilled worker.
No, but isn't that the same thing you do?
All your documents together,
yeah,
and all your documents needs to be accredited, evaluated, and they have to assess it.
But even in England,
get to that point and then they give up.
Even in England,
assessment of qualification, they don't want to do that.
Even in England, which is in English, they are colonial masters, but we have always had UK NARIC. And if you bring your qualifications, you must go through NARIC.
That is it.
If you've not done it through NARIC, you're going nowhere. And
people, they don't want, of course, there are some schools, sometimes you see me posting schools, I say, okay, this school, no IELTS or something. But those schools are the ones that everybody's trying to get the simplest ways in. You understand? So, of course, And those schools are really, for me, sometimes they're not like the best of the best of the best,
When
so
you
it
come
can
here, you will
also harm you.
cry. But you can
Yeah,
cry because they cut corners, because they also cut corners in the places where you need support. And I've seen too many
exactly.
people come to these schools thinking they have cut a corner, and they find the corners cut too deep for them. And then they cry. Academic writing
Exactly.
and a
And
few
here's
of
the
these
thing.
things.
There is no way you would have an admission from the University of Duke in North Carolina, or you will have an admission to Penn State and you go to the American embassy and they will tell you you're going to refuse you a visa because they can see you took the time to do GRE. They know once
Yep.
you take the time to study the GRE for 6 months, you are a serious student. Your ideas or your intention is not suspicious to them. They know that if somebody takes 6 months out of their regular life to study GRE, this is somebody who intends to finish their course. This is not somebody who is just trying to get into the country and do something else. I had recently a guy that I was helping who wanted this route of, I don't want to write this, I don't want to write this. And I said, okay. Went into the Canadian embassy and they're like, we are not sure of your intention coming into this country, because we have a feeling that once you enter the country, your true intention is not to
Study. Yeah.
finish the studies, but to work. And then people get mad and I'm like, I told you from the get-go, because looking at the situation, the documentation and everything that you have, it will be much better to find a school that is indisputable. There are some schools that you cannot dispute, that this person is really going once you have an admission letter from said school,
Let's even go there too. Again, the schools where you are likely to get your visa to travel are also the schools where you are likely to find the connections and you are likely to find the value
Exactly.
in to get a job afterwards.
Exactly. So, like I said, people don't understand that it's a long-term thing. You have to plan it out. This is the assessment. There's a period of assessment. I need maybe 1 month to 3 months to write a very solid statement of purpose. I need, now to send in the application and wait and prepare myself for the interview itself. You can't just get up and go ahead and just go to the interview. You have to prepare for the interview. You have to stand in front of the mirror, think of possible questions that can be asked. I've collected some questions that I give to my mentees, and then you have to prepare, stand in front of the mirror, practice it, show confidence, and so on. You understand? Before you go through all of it, cannot be a 3 weeks project. It's not possible for you to go from 0 to 100 in 3 weeks. But so many people give up.
But
So
what
many
you are
people
actually
give
saying
up.
there also picks another thing. So yesterday, a lot of you saw that one of my first courses, this morning actually, I shared it earlier this morning. One of my first courses was soft skills. And it was soft skills for graduate students, and it was soft skills for executives. I've taught that class since 2010, so 13 years now. I have been running that class. Somebody says, Amma, but why do you do those? Why do you look at those people in particular? And I'm like, there are so many of us who are actually skilled, but our communication skills are poor.
Are very poor.
And if your communication skills are poor, sadly, your intellect means very little. In most of the world, it means very little. You have to work on those communication skills. You've got to know how to stand in front of people to give your pitch.
Right.
In embassies, you will not get the PowerPoint and the stuff to read from. So you have to have a system to know what it is that you are going to say. You have to have your script, but you have to find the script somewhere in your head. And you have to know the trigger points. So let's go there with the interview. Can we not go up and tell the interviewee we are going to see London eyeballs so they can give us...
Of course, sometimes people apply for so many schools, and finally when they get an offer letter and go ahead and put in their request for an interview date at the embassy, they have even forgot what the course is about. So because I understand the desperation, so they try so many, especially those who do this business courses. So you're going to the interview, and of course the person knows your name and all of that. You have to know something about the course already. You have to know what you want to do when you are done with the course. You have to be prepared for that. Sometimes you go to the interview and you're not asked any questions. That is good. But you have to be prepared to talk about the course that you chose to do. And you will have to go into the embassy. And when they ask them about the course, they have no idea. Then after applying for the course, they did not even click on the next page to look at the curriculum of some of the courses that are in this, degree program. So I'm like, you have to know. How can you, let's say you applied to do MBA and you don't know whether you are going to be studying financial accounting, whether you're going to be learning research methods, marketing, what, so many of us don't do that, and then they go to the embassy and then they are refused a visa and they are angry with themselves, angry with life. Some people even attribute it to family members being witches and wizards who stopped them from getting the visa, But it isn't that. You look ridiculous to the person interviewing you if you are a prospective master student and this basic stuff you don't know. That is one of the challenges I have. I have people who have finished bachelor degrees in Ghana and just the simplest things are so difficult. I mean, for them, I do as an educator, I do understand why sometimes these standardized testings are in place to make sure they are getting the right set of students to work with. Because if not, you make your own life difficult. You come on campus and you make life difficult for some of us, and so on. You understand?
You will come and cry.
If you can't go through these simple steps as a master student coming to live abroad, and if you're coming as a skilled worker, let's say you're coming here, you're going to be doing something electrical. Living abroad, like since I moved here, I have learned so many things that's like DIYs and things like that. You get a chair from IKEA, you have to fix it yourself and so on. And you are coming abroad to be an electrical engineer or mechanical or whatever. And you cannot answer basic stuff about your job. That's also affects you. It's good to pray. I'm a Christian, I believe in prayer and everything else, but you need to be prepared for all of these things at the internet. You have to. Some time ago, even in America, if you told them you are essential, they'll tell you bring your machine, come and they'll give you a piece of work, come and cut it because come and sew it for us to see. You have to be prepared. If you enter the embassy as an electrician, you have to be prepared that if they tell you this socket is broken, fix it. You should be able to fix it as an electrician.
But otherwise, what kind of electrician are you? Again, you see, some of these things are so logical. You don't understand why people don't understand it. You are an electrician. You are going into an economy to actually go fix things with electricals. They don't want you to come start fires.
Exactly.
They need to know that you know what the hell you're doing.
Exactly.
What about construction? Justice. What about construction? Listen, we have to learn to look at these things carefully. No industry has one box. There are people in construction who are civil engineers. Yeah. There are people who are building engineers. There are some people who are architects. There are many, many, many different skills within construction. And then there are the ones who carry concrete. When we speak in these big blanket boxes, I think we create confusion for people. What exactly about construction are we discussing? If you are here for a quantity surveyor job, that's completely different from when somebody is doing civil engineering. Completely different from those who do structural of all kinds. So we have to pick those things up. Construction, the way we mean in Ghana, is not a skilled job though. The way we describe it, it's not a skilled job.
It's not a skilled job. And you have to know that here they work with standards. They have several standards when it comes to building. There are codes and things like that. So if you say in construction, do you mean are you a mason? What are you in construction? And do you even know the standards in the country that you're coming to work in? Do you know what the codes are and things like that? If let's say you did building and planning at the polytechnic level, you have to also understand that whatever works here in Germany might not work in the States. So you need to know a little bit about the rules in different countries where you want to migrate to and find out, okay, what are the certifications that they need? See, right now we live in a world that is global. There are so many certifications that you can take online. There are so many tests places that you can, there are things that you can do to prove your knowledge. There are places that you can go to prove your knowledge. The problem that we have is we are waiting for our hand to be held, for somebody to show us, this is what you have to do.
Sister, find me teaching job. So today I made a mistake to make a post. And I said to you guys, if you are a teacher in the UK or in the US, because I do know those two places, but I'm very sure anywhere else where students study, they have examiners. But if you're a teacher in a place like that, I was encouraging people to go to the exam boards and to start marking. And for those who can mark, to also excel and to start rising. Because we need to, the next thing I got is this time I am a pupil teacher in Ghana, gets me to England. I'm like, how the hell? I don't do witchcraft, you know. How will I get you? Yes, I don't. How will I have to charm somebody to get you as a pupil teacher in Ghana to come teach in England? Because you haven't even engaged with the discourse in any way. It's a degree job in England to teach. You have to find that thing out. As soon as Amamansin posts that thing, don't come to my inbox. Me, I don't have time for you. Since I went today, you saw me. When I finished work at 5. Then I tried to buy something, and then it was time to run to come speak to Nancy. I have actually kept a lovely young lady sitting somewhere who can't eat. She's waiting for me to go eat with because she knows I'm Johnny No Friends. So she's trying to keep me company so I don't eat alone. When I finish with Nancy, I'm going to eat with this person. When I come, I have work to do. I'm not the one going to go and look for a job for you. And I'm not the one going to look for the teaching requirements for you. The best I can always do for you is give you a website. Nancy, do you also experience that with most of the people who come to you? Or is it just me?
I experience that a lot, you know, not just in the teaching field, in every field. People are expecting me to do the groundwork for them. They're expecting me to fill out even the application forms for them. They're expecting me to, you know, walk them through everything. Like, what they have practically do what I do for my daughters on a day-to-day basis for them. And then they write to you and maybe you don't respond to them within a day or two.
Ooh,
and then they send 3 question marks and I'm like, what the actual hell? Like, I do this for free. Why are you, even if I decide not, I don't have the time to respond to you in 3 days. You have absolutely no right to be sending me several question marks. It's my time, you know. You have to find out for yourself. What I can do is I can bring you news that, okay, this opportunity exists. What you have to do is probably just, if you like, take the words from my post, put it in Google and see if it has not opened other pages for you that you have to actually read through. Go through the steps. Like, you want to do a teaching job, the first thing is you need to get your test. You know that if you're in Ghana, the opportunity is there for us now for us to go and teach abroad, especially in the UK and so on. So find out what are the things that I need to be able to do this once. And okay, I need to get a test. Okay. What do I need to send for me to get this test? What is this test and how do I get it? Once you're able to get, you go to the next stage. The next stage is now you have to start applying for jobs. Then it comes back to Nancy. Okay, Auntie Nancy, I have my test now. Now I have to start applying for jobs. Once again, I have to now point them in the direction of there's Monster, there's Indeed, there's Stepstone. I'm like, I don't get it. Why people constantly need somebody else to like point them in the direction that they need to go. I am here. If you write an application letter, you ask me, can I read through it for you? That is something that you have done something. But to come to me every single time, can you point me in this direction? I find that a bit exhausting.
It has to change, you know, because it's not in one walk of life. I get that. So every year in June is one of my greatest nightmares because since Kweku Chains and the trip to Dubai, every year when it is an anniversary, obviously he wants to mark the anniversary. So he posts the videos which says how he got to Dubai. And poor me, my name comes into this video. Now that's where my problems begin. I cannot do business in June or July. Sometimes not even in August. Hey, Sister Amma, me too, I want to come abroad. And I'm like, okay, how will you come? I saw Kweku Chain video and they said, you are the destiny helper. Me, your destiny helper. No, Kweku Chains had already made videos. Kweku Chains already had fans. So it was easy for me to connect with people who were already Kweku Chains fans. My job was just to bring the direction and to inspire people to act. There were 3 people who worked on it. One person took the whole passport thing. There were 2 other people who brought some money, and I added on top to bring Kweku. So I asked the person, so where are your fans? How can I find your fans? Exactly. So I can get 2 more people. I'm willing to contribute 1/3, like I did with Kweku Chains, no problem. But show me your fans. Who can get me the other 2/3? Exactly. This time I don't have fans. So then what do you want me to do?
If you don't put in the work,
people just don't understand that you have to go and do things proactively, and that it is the things you do for yourself when you are already beginning to move. Then somebody can push you a little bit, because none of us have energy. Nancy has work to do. She cannot be coming to fill all your application forms in for you.
No.
She cannot do all of it for you. So if you don't hear anything from me today, the one thing I want you to pick from me is the fact that you've got to be proactive and help yourself, so that Nancy can see, oh, this person just needs an edit of their personal statement. Yeah, I can fit that in my lunch, because that she can do in her lunch while she's eating. Write your whole application for you. It will take a week. She doesn't have that kind of time, so it's unlikely you will get it. Okay.
Nobody has that time, really. Everybody's busy with their life in the West. That is what so many of us don't understand, that everybody's really busy with their life in the West. Life is tedious in the West. If you come to me and you have a CV and I just have to help you edit it, that is different. But if you want me to write it for you from scratch, that is going to be impossible, because it's a service that I cannot give. This is something I do out of my free time. It's not possible for me to do this for everybody. Like, it's not even practical, because your CV, when you write it yourself, you memorize it, and it's very, very easy for you to talk about it when you are in a job interview. You know, it's a preparation for you to be able to speak in your job interview. That is why it's good for you to write it yourself. It prepares you. And after all, if you want a job, you have to know how to write a simple CV. But it will shock you that we do have people who have finished bachelor's degree who can't write a simple CV. We cannot.
So now Nancy writes the CV for you and you get the job. Will Nancy do the job for you? Or will you be found at some point? This is the thing. This whole thing will help me. It's actually not helpful, because
it's a very
you will expose
mentality.
It really is. The reason why the kids I teach have that conversation with, Miss, help us. I'm like, okay, so if I help you now and then you get to university, who will help you? Will I follow you there to help you, or will you look stupid at that time? So I look stupid alongside you. And occasionally, even with the young kids, they get it and they're like, okay. This is just preparation for what is to come. And if you can't make it on this, like a high jump competition, isn't it? If you don't make this one, if you don't make it over this bar, what's the point in going higher?
You will not make the next one. And it shows. It shows in everything. For me, the reason why I keep reducing the number of people that I mentor is that I only want to use my time to help those who are really, really serious about it. I don't want to waste time with people who are just, they're just testing the waters to see if it's for them. I want people who have this hunger in their belly. I see that they are ready to put in the work because they have evidence. They showed me, I've done this, I've done that, and now I just need you to, help me. Of course, we all do need help from time to time. That is fine. But to help somebody from scratch and to hold it, for me, I think I am handicapping you if I do that for you anyway. So I no longer do that. And I do kick people out of my mentorship group as quickly as I can.
Well, I think the fact that you actually do have the mentorship group is amazing. People should be very grateful that they get it for free. In fact, I am now also moving away from, like I said, most of our people don't even realize the value of what you give them if it comes too easy. And instead of people carrying their own weight for you to push them a little bit, they will drop all of it on you. And then it becomes dead weight. It's really difficult.
Exactly. And for them, the reason why most people don't understand their values, as long as you're not putting a visa sticker in their passport, they don't understand that, all of these things are steps that leads to you getting the visa. And so putting in the work in the end helps you to get the visa. Like I would tell somebody, write your statement of purpose, send it in, and I'm giving you 2 weeks. write it and send in the first draft and let's work on it. You will not hear from the person again. Or if you hear from the person, they're going to tell you, I'm getting married, so I was planning the wedding, so I don't have time. My mom is sick, my dad is sick, something happened. The excuses are endless. I'm not saying that any of these excuses are not true, but the point is, it is really difficult working with our people. It is.
Our people need to learn, because you see, life has a funny way of working in particular ways. And those who learn how life works, especially those of you who want to come abroad, you have to understand that the Western system is actually structured in a particular way. Mm-hmm. And those who learn how those rules work are the ones who thrive. Those who come wanting to live here the way you live at home will find problems. That will be the last bit I want to
because
actually bring up.
If you have a deadline at work, you cannot tell your boss that you're planning a wedding, so you were not able to deliver a deadline that was set like 2 weeks in 2 weeks' time. I mean, you could have written a few sentences during the day or something, but like once again, it's just the way we are programmed. We're just programmed differently. We are just programmed to always make sure that somebody else is going to help us or understand us and things like that. And for me, I think like it's a poor preparation if you really want to move abroad, because when you move abroad, it's a very lonely situation. You are practically on your own. You are on your own. I remember when I went to uni here, from the very first day, I was on my own from the very first day. From the very first day you are at the uni, there's a short orientation. Okay, this building is that, blah, blah, blah. You're done. Now you have to figure out everything for yourself. If you can't, nobody's going to hold your hand and, and you have to, that is where the research skills comes in, If you need to go from point A to point B, you need to be able to use the phone to research, because when you ask me a question, I don't have all the knowledge in my head. The only thing I'm going to do is probably research it and come give you a response. And that is something that you can do yourself.
But then that's the important thing.
Yes, most of us.
It's so important.
The research skills.
I'm a Manson. Can you find me an occupational therapist in Birmingham? I don't live in Birmingham. I don't have that information. Why am I going to spend the time to find that information on the internet for you when you can yourself find the information? In fact, sometimes when you are looking for it, you might find other things which will connect you better.
It's crazy because most of us can use our phones for all kinds of things, when it comes to like entertaining ourselves and so on. Use Facebook to entertain ourselves. We know how to use TikTok to entertain ourselves. By using the phone that we are holding to do something that really has a meaning for our lives, we can't do that. I mean, sometimes I have relatives who call me from like the UK, and I have to look for something for them in Milton Keynes. I'm like, it's something that it's just the way we are programmed. It's weird.
But no, we need to deprogram. It can't. It is the reason why we haven't made progress. But again, most of us have not understood. So I hear this a lot. In Germany, all the teachers are racist, so the children don't make it into the better jobs. No, honey. No, baby. That's not why. It is because we don't support our kids to actually thrive. We don't.
Exactly.
That's why our kids don't make it. My kids are not blue. They are still black, but they get to places, and because you push through, they will make it. You find you are in Milton Keynes. They speak English in England, but somebody will be here in England, dial out to me in Abu Dhabi and ask me to go to Google, as if their phone doesn't have Google, to find information for them. Hey, Amma, I have a special needs kid. I need a speech therapist. I live in Coventry. And I'm like, oh, yeah, find me one. And whilst I'm finding you one, what will you be doing?
Exactly.
There's no magic place I'm going to go to find a speech and language therapist for you except Google.
Exactly.
So why can't you go there yourself? And we have to deprogram. We really do.
It's really important for us to learn how to deprogram and learn how to use the tools that we have to help ourselves. Like I always say, your phone, your tablet, whatever, it's not here just for the entertainment. It's a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool that you can use to change your life, you know. Talking about whether teachers are racist or not racist, all of that is not important for me, as long as you are invested in your child's life and you keep the focus. Of course, I understand why people say that, because in Germany, after the 5th grade, after the 4th grade, depending if you live in Berlin, after the 5th grade, the kids go in different directions. And since the kids go in different directions, we have the regular direction, which is the gymnasium that leads to, you know, the 12th grade. And then we have the Realschule that leads to the 10th grade. And the kids who are sent to the Realschule do tend to be somehow encouraged to do more technical and vocational education based, you know, careers. Then we have the kids who go to the Hauptschule, which is mainly it's only till the 9th grade. If you compare it to Ghana, it will be like just to the JSS level. And those kids, once they are done, they are, you know, encouraged to start working, you know, maybe at a bakery or whatever. I have said these things before I started teaching. When I first moved here, people said these things when I was like, hey, in Germany, the teachers are racist. They're going to turn my child into a baker or whatever. As I started teaching and I understood the system much better, I realized I have a daughter who goes to gymnasium and I have a daughter who goes to a Realschule. And I can tell you, a gymnasium is no joke. It is no joke.
Can you slow down and speak Greek so we can understand? What is a gymnasium? I thought it was a gym.
Gymnasium is like the normal route that goes from the 5th, 6th grade till 12th grade. And those kids who are in this school, they do end up as the doctors, the lawyers, you know, it's the regular, you know, these careers that all migrant parents want for their kids, you know, engineer, lawyer, doctor, blah, blah, blah. That is the gymnasium route. And then we have the Realschule, which is only till the 10th grade. And for those kids, they also you can end up after Realschule being a nurse, working at the employment agency here. You can be working at the immigration office. You can work for the city council. You can, yeah. It's more like those kids end up going through the polytechnic route. So we have the kids that they are preparing for the universities. Then we have the kids that they are preparing for like the polytechnic route. Then we have the kids who go only up to the 9th grade. And those kids are mainly supposed to, you know, finish the 9th grade, which is like finish JSS and go do something basically with their hands. And the kids are separated based on intellect, actually, not just intellect, but intellect also based on how long the child can sit and concentrate for, you know, and how organized is this child? What else? The socio-economic status of the parents, and which I think that is where the problem is, which I think sometimes can be a bit unfair. And what else? And the child's classroom behavior. Those are the 4 criteria that they use to decide which direction a child should go to.
Hey, Nancy, this conversation, we cannot actually carry on too long because I don't want to mix them. The education system is a whole topic on its own because we must discuss this. People will come back and tell you
in your child can move from one system to the other and still go to the university. Nobody's going to stop you. Nobody's going to stop you.
But it is the fact that, intelligent quotient exists. A person doesn't have to be racist to actually assess. There are many tests. There are CAT tests that actually do these assessments. And no, the people marking it are not special racists who are giving poor scores to our kids.
No.
The issue is that we don't know how to prepare our kids.
We don't.
We do not support our kids.
From one school system to the other school system because she's being prepared for it, you know. Even though she tested very high on the IQ test, when it came to concentration, classroom behavior, and being organized, she was not. So going into that would have been very, very frustrating for him, because, you know, children develop differently. And sometimes you have to allow them for the executive function part of their brain to be developed first for them to
But
move
again, you see,
into
this
the second part.
conversation is a reasonable conversation. It's not to do with skin color, and it's not to do with anything. There are certain kids who have aptitudes for certain things. And yes, there are indicators that can be used to predict aptitude. And if you pull through with the indicators, well, then the assumption is that you have the aptitude to do it. If you don't have the indicators, if you're a green-skinned person, you don't have the indicators. If you're a blue-skinned person, you don't have the indicators. But we default to crying foul and screaming racism every time for any reason, so that when the real thing does happen, we have cried wolf so many times that nobody even hears you anymore. And that's my frustration.
That is, right, it's frustrating for everybody involved.
It is really frustrating. Prince was asking a question, but I don't quite understand. See if it makes any sense to you. He says, kindly let her touch on Germany's opportunity card before. Do you know what an opportunity card is?
Yes, the opportunity card is now, previously, the law that we had here in Germany was that for you to come here as a skilled worker, you need to go through the things that I said, like have your documents assessed and accredited, find a job, move in here, and then, you know, live your life. But now Germany is giving the opportunity card, which is you can come here and then look for the job. You know, you can come here and look for the job.
Right.
For this is something that I have recently written to the German embassy. I've written an open letter to the German embassy because I don't see that updated on their website yet. And I think it should be updated, because I've checked other German embassies around the world, and you can see that in India it's there. I've checked the German embassy in Pakistan is there. So, and I always check those two, because I do know that Europeans have a tendency to recruit from those places before they give us a chance. So I like to, you know, light a bit of fire underneath them to get them moving. What the opportunity card is that you can get a period, I believe it's 6 months. The law is very new. It was passed very recent. So you have 6 months to come in here to look for a job. And once you find a job, then you will be given a 3-year resident permit. And after you are done with that resident permit, you can go ahead and apply for permanent residency or apply for citizenship. What you need to do to be able to move here, of course, you need to be able to provide for yourself for that 6 months period when you are here. Because as we all know, Germany has a very good social system, but it's overburdened. And we don't want more people to come in here without any kind of social support and then end up on the street. Because we believe when you end up on the street, there's more crime and there's more vice. So for you to be able to do this, you need to have your certificates accredited. You need to have your certificates organized. That is the first part. Of course, then you need to also have some prospective employers at hand. Then you need to have the money to take care of yourself. It's a little bit more than 5,000 for 6 months. You need to have the money, which is a bit more than 5,000 euros for the 6 months period that you are here. Because like I said, everything in this country is standardized. So the research support we know that
how much money you need.
Living in Germany, you need this X amount on a monthly basis to survive. That's why they have this amount of money you need to have in an account to be able to.
They know the cost of food. They know the cost of rent. They know these things.
They know the square meters one person needs to live in comfortably to have an okay life. Of course, even though the law says this, one of the things that they are going to be used to see, you know, you are at the mercy of the visa officer. If you have not taken a language course, even though the law does not say you have to take a language course to come, if you have not taken a language course, it will be very difficult to convince an officer that, oh, you are really moving in here to actually go and look for a job. You need to have basic, which is the A1. At least you need to have.
But what would you be using to communicate with Germans?
Exactly.
If you can't speak German, how would you?
I want to buy.
How would you get a job?
Buy a loaf of bread. Basic. You need to be. My name is this. I live at this address. You need to be able to count 1 to at least 20 in German to be able to be taken seriously. Even though it looks like it's a very easy route, I'm going to tell anybody who wants. It's a good thing because, you know, the money is half of what you need for a student visa. But take a basic German course before you come, because this country has its language. Of course, you find people speaking English, but you can't. If I am Black, if I'm a visa officer, you can't convince me that you're moving to Germany and you don't even have A1 German. That will be very hard to convince.
Let's even talk about it. I've seen England do the opposite, and we've all regretted it.
Mm-hmm.
England opened their borders to any Tom, Dick, and Harry, and I have found myself in classrooms teaching children with sign language.
That's very difficult.
I am a very skilled teacher, but I don't do magic. So those children, they just sit there and they watch. The parent comes and you're trying to explain an issue to a parent.
The parent does not understand.
The parent does
and
not understand.
Frustrated. It's a lose-lose for everybody in the
It's a lose-lose for everybody. It doesn't work. And even England, who wants to be liberal, at some point decided to do the life in the UK test, and it came from here.
Mm-hmm.
We began to see people who were not integrating. And we began to understand the problems involved with people who have null integration. Mm-hmm. And so, in fact, you also don't want, can you imagine you going to places where you don't understand a word? You look so stupid.
It's not possible. And when I get people complaining like, yeah, I want to come to Germany, but the language is a problem, I always ask them, imagine you live in Ghana. You speak only French. You don't speak any Ghanaian language. You don't speak Ga, you don't speak Tree, you don't speak English. And you move to Ghana, you speak only French. Who would employ you to sit at a bank?
Exactly.
It's not because Germans are racist, but what will you do there when you're doing a front-facing job? Who will employ you to sit there at the bank? Who will employ you to sit at the even as a security receptionist? If somebody comes into the building and they're looking for company XYZ, how would you tell them it's on the second floor, on the third floor, or whatever? So you will see that in most places that you find yourself, there are no Black people. It's not because they are not willing to employ us. It just doesn't make any kind of sense to put you there if you don't speak a word of that language, you know. Even if somebody's like, yeah, I'm a teacher, I want to work in a kindergarten, I don't speak German. Okay, how would you talk to the kids? How would you communicate with your colleagues? How would you?
No, they want to teach the children Tree.
Some basic form of German.
They want German children to speak Tree with them in the kindergarten. Like sometimes, you see, when you actually break this down, this is what I want a lot of us to understand. Some of our expectations for some of these places we go to is unreasonable. It's silly. Mm-hmm. You want to go and teach German children, but you don't want to speak German. So what do you want to do? Teach them in Ewe, or you want to teach them in Yoruba? Which one do you want to do? Does it sound feasible? Does it sound reasonable?
It's the same thing as moving to America to go and teach, and you don't speak a word of English. How would you communicate? It's like that. Every country in Europe, outside of the UK, every country in Europe has a different language. Every country. So if you want to go to France, you better learn some French. If you want to go to
they're speaking
Germany,
Yoruba.
You better learn some German, you know.
No, we are speaking Chi. How is that?
That is it, you know. And also for this opportunity card, I think there's an age limit, I believe, which is about 35. You can't be older than 35 because they are hoping to use you for an extended period of time. They want you to be able to contribute into the pension fund for an extended period of time before you of course, Nancy, everything that they do is not for us. It's something that benefits them in the
Let's actually cut to the crap also from the beginning, sister. If by 40, 45, you need opportunities and you need a card for opportunities, or guy, your life is over. You are getting ready for retirement. And I am at that age
exactly.
Myself.
So you cannot come here.
Which energy would you be working? You are not even teachable. Who is going to teach you and how will you learn it? So no, opportunity card is not for people my age. We are getting ready for retirement too.
No.
This is not the time to be giving you opportunity. And if they don't give it to you, rightfully so, it has nothing to do with anything. What will you even use the opportunity for? Can you manage opportunity?
Plus, it ends up being unfair to contribute to withdraw from the pension fund when you haven't contributed as much as other people have contributed in any way. I mean, they are looking for the youth. So maximum age 35, and make sure, please, that you learn some form of basic German.
Let me give you a few minutes to summarize. We will have to continue this. I know some of you wanted her to spend a bit of time on the education of the children. I will beg Nancy to come back so we do it. But today, I don't want it too long, so we can capture just the essence. Let me come to Nancy. Nancy, give us your last few words.
My last few words are the following. If you want to migrate, whether it's to Canada, Austria, wherever, put your documents together, your transcripts, your certificates, whatever. That is the very first step. Put them together and find out, do you need to have them accredited, certified, what? Take that bold step. If you want to go to school, draw out a plan, find out the deadlines for the application deadlines for these schools. Select 4 or 5 schools that you want to apply to. Write a general statement of purpose that you can tweak to fit different schools as you go along, or different courses as you go along. Once you do that, the next step is send in the applications, and then let God do his magic. But if you don't want to go to the first step of putting your certificates together, finding the schools and find what the schools need. We all want shortcuts. If the school needs you to write TOEFL, don't run away from it. If you find a school that doesn't take TOEFL, then it's all good. Be prepared to put in the work. It can never be a bad thing for writing a standardized test. Some people say, yeah, it's about the money, or if it's about the qualification assessment to Canada, oh, it's so expensive. And there is nothing like free. There's nothing.
Good things
free.
Are not cheap.
There's nothing free here, Be prepared to go through the steps. Take out a plan. Write it out. Buy a planner. Amma Mason has a planner. Buy a planner. Plan it out and know that this month I'm doing this. Next month I'm doing that. The next month I'm doing that. In Germany, most schools have 15th July as the deadline. Find out these deadlines and work towards them. If you find the deadline is too close, don't give up. Next year is coming. We are still here, God willing. Plan, okay, now it's too tight. I'm going to plan that the next 12, I'm going to prepare so that I can meet this deadline next year. Plan it. Once you write out a plan, buy a small single notebook. Once you write out a plan, it's easy for you to take things off of it. No, I've done this. This is the next step. This is the next step. But once you don't write it out, next year you will still be on my platform asking me the same questions you did this year, and you will not, Jakpa. That one I can promise you, you would not. If you don't write it down, you would not. Best to write
a plan
down.
Not written is a dream. You hear me?
It is.
A plan not written is a dream. And a dream not chased is for mad people. If you expect accomplishments, really, you will have to write it down to change it from a dream to a goal. And you have to pursue it if you intend to achieve. It's that simple. And yeah, it's funny that these simple things are not quite understood in our space, but we will get there. I wanted you to meet Nancy. I wanted you to see what she does. Her page is called Just Call Nancy. And just ask Nancy. Don't come to my inbox. I cannot tell you anything else. Go and ask Nancy. Go to the page. Just ask Nancy. When you go ask Nancy, Amma Manson doesn't know. You hear me? Me, I don't know. I have vacated my inbox. It's no longer available. Don't come in there. You will sit there for 6 months. So go. This is another person you should go and find. Those of you, especially who want to go to England. This is Dr. Ellen Adomako. Go to doctor. Go and ask her about England. Go to Nancy. I'm intentionally showing you all these people because I want you to know the right places to go to. So you don't harass me. Me, I can't do it. No. Go to Vagabond Mama, go to her, go to Ellen, go and find any of them, Peter Bewa, go and find Choco Millionaire. I'm showing you these guys because I want you to go there to the right places for the information. So you can leave me the hell alone to eat my banku in the corner. I want to eat banku at the moment. There is a lovely person waiting for me downstairs so I can go and eat. So when I finish with Nancy, I'm going to eat. Don't inbox me. I can't answer your question. Just ask Nancy. That's the name of the page. Go there. Go deal with Nancy, and please don't go and ask her to fill your form for you because she will bite your nose off. It will not help. All right. I'll be back in touch when I am running around. But Nancy, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. It's been lovely talking to you. Thank you to everybody who joined us.
And I will come back and disturb you to come back so we can do the education in Germany because my phone is breaking. I'm at the German education. Nancy, I'll beg Nancy to come another time, but today
we'll talk about
we'll wrap it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Nancy. Go
Bye,
and rewatch
Thanks
it.
For joining.
Thank you, sis. Bye. Josephine, my pleasure. So listen, I'm bringing you these personalities so you know where to go. Okay, go find Nancy. Go listen to what she teaches. Go watch what she does. If there's somebody who can talk to you about Germany from a competent point, that's Nancy. That's why I brought her. But in the meantime, I'm going downstairs to go and eat. I discovered that my lunch, yesterday I should have bought food. And I need to go to Uber Eats to go and figure out, because it turns out I should have eaten my food yesterday on the tab. I doesn't know. Anyway, I'm going to go eat. I'll see you guys later. Salamu alaikum.